Cheesy Jack. My $6.99 triple bacon Cheesy Jack combo. Only a Jack in the Box. A moment ago when we were in commercial break, Chaperone Tongue, step down, step back up. You're not allowed to do that.
And you can't celebrate on the podium like this. And that is exactly what he did. It is not allowed, and he can be penalized for this.
We see Nikita, who is up next, kind of a little confused looking at him because he knows the rules.
Absolutely, and he also, that was kind of a little bit funky to do it right when Nikita's getting ready to go.
So the number coming in there, and the penalty is there. The 3/10 deduction, they gave him the penalty.
Unbelievable.
14.066. Can you imagine if that cost him an Olympic gold medal? It's in first for the moment, but you've got two more to go here on high bar. First of the two, the 24-year-old Russian Olympic Committee, Nikita Nagorny.
So Nikita was 0.334 behind Xiao Rotang. And Xiao Rotang just gave Nikita Nagorny 0.3.
That's amazing.
He's still got to catch the ball a bunch of times.
One more routine.
Very nice. Everything so far. What about the handstand? A little bit over. 0.3 on that.
There as well.
Absolutely.
One thing into another. Good recovery right there. Already won an Olympic gold medal a few days ago in competition. Really went for that stick right there.
Yeah, but he didn't just take one step. They were both small, but he took multiple, at least two.
And you can kind of tell by the look on his face, he is not sure. A little different look than in the team finals.
Two twist. There's the landing. Now that right foot just did move.
Nikita Nagorny needs 14.4 and change. Doesn't get it. 14.366. And it came down to that landing. So Chaperone in the lead right now with one gymnast left.
Came down to the landing, and Xiao Rotang going up on the podium and getting a 3/10 neutral deduction.
But right now holds the lead. So Hashimoto Daiki trying to become the youngest individual all-around gold medalist ever. This men's event, we've never had a teenager win the gold, and he's looking to make it 3 in a row for Japan.
Yeah, it was such a hard men's team competition. The Russian Olympic Committee came out on top by 103, just a smidge more than 1/10 of a point. That is really hard to take. Daiki is in the driver's seat, though. He scored a 15.033 in qualifying. He's fabulous here.
And that's that number that he needs.
Got a lot of releases to catch, though. The other one, this one will be done in talk. Little car. They'll combine some releases together. Really good. He also does a double twisting, double somersault. Absolutely, I was going to say there's your Olympic champion. I still think he is going to be. He should be by what we've seen the other athletes do here today.
The leader right now, Xiao Rotong. This man, Hashimoto Daiki, coming in better than anybody on high bar and taking it right to the end.
Really great routine. Look at the hop right there. That's a 3/10 hop because it's more than 1 foot. But that routine was more than he needed, in my opinion.
The 19-year-old's got the pose already. It's not official. It's not done.
Certainly looks like he thinks it is.
But remember that 3/10 of a point neutral deduction. Can you imagine if that takes it away from Xiao Rotong?
14-3-3. Hashimoto Daiki bringing home the gold, literally, to Japan. Daiki, the gold, Xiao Rotong, the silver. It's 4/10 of a point. So outside of that deduction for celebrating. And Nikita Nagorny of the Russian Olympic Committee stands on the podium as the bronze medalist. The celebrations underway here in Ariake Gymnastics Center.
10 and 12 for Team USA, but this part of a great start to the games for the host nation. Hashimoto, youngest ever gymnast to win gold in the men's individual all-around. That event, Japan has now won 3 straight games. The women's all-around comes your way tomorrow morning in the U.S. on the NBC Sports app and NBCOlympics.com, 6:50 a.m. Eastern. As you know, no snowmobiles in that event. Doesn't mean we're not going to see her at the end of the games in the individual apparatus. We don't know that yet. U.S. team tomorrow morning for you in the States will be led by Jade Carey and gold medal contender Suni Lee. Friends and family at Team USA, you see they've been gathering at Universal Orlando. Maybe some members of the LA 28 Team USA. They're writing notes, they're enjoying the stars and stripes. They're going to be watching Scuba Diving with you when we come back.
The games of the 32nd Olympiad on NBC are brought to you by Ford, built for America. By Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. By Olay, face anything for the power of the dream. And by Progressive Insurance, save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Here's Bobby.
No! It seems like this whole season long.
Welcome back, America. You've waited a long time for this.
I'm gonna tell you something. When I got up, Danielle, I'm not answering questions
The airport can be a real challenge for new homeowners who have become their parents.
Okay, everybody, let's do a ticket check. Labor tickets. We're off to a horrible start, but we can overcome it. We're not going to point out our houses, landmarks, or major highways during takeoff.
I've had so many delicious snacks. But they're
Just a ballpark when group 2 is going to get boarded.
2 hours and 58 minutes.
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with
Carol,
us.
someone should have left home earlier.
Know this about the jungle. Everything that you see wants to kill you. And can.
Penguin AZ.
See Disney's Jungle Cruise. Applebee's in a movie. Now that's even good.
I'm digging you.
We took the drug that helped build this country and made it so it could power our homes.
You know, I'm gonna let you guys. So if you guys want to listen to the interview, I believe we're doing Davos Weenie tonight.
Rec Center. The final synchronized event of the diving competition will be the men's 3-meter springboard. This is the event that created diving history in Rio. Great Britain won its first ever diving gold. Jack Law anchored that this year with a new partner, Daniel Goodfellow. The United States won silver in Rio. Mike Hickson returns from that pair. His new partner, Andrew Capobianco. Bronze medals for China. They come to Tokyo with 2 first-time Olympians. And the competition is underway. The first 2 rounds have been complete. Basic dives done. Capobianco and Hickson, the Americans, diving the first.
And their first 2 round dives were just fine. Putting themselves in the lead, doing dives that are consistent, steady, and keeping themselves in the ball game.
How about the initial impression of this new team from China?
They were amazing in the first 2 rounds. Increasing their round. They are so exact. That they get some chances in both rounds.
Out of fours is China leading Japan by 10 points after the second round. Capobianco and Hickson are in 4th. The dive order for this event is done by random draw. The Americans dive first. Mike Hickson on the left. Amherst, Massachusetts, part of a silver medal winning team. The now retired Sam Dorman in Rio. Andrew Capobianco, born and raised in Long Island, now diving for Indiana University.
Competition ramps up now with the more difficult dives, high degree of difficulties. And this is
Always a long one.
start to really separate
Got another 24, man.
different
I'm one of those believers in thank you for 24.
rounds. This is a 2.5 2 twist. A little tight.
You never know when you're going to run out of them.
Mike Hickson, captain of
So,
separated his feet just slightly. Coaches Mike Gilby on the left from Michigan and Drew Johansson on the right from Indiana.
my daughter had her birthday yesterday,
So good start to the third
and it was great.
Jack Law became a national hero in Great Britain in the Rio Games. Jack Law, closest to you, partnered with the now retired Chris Mears to win gold on this event in Rio, the first diving gold medal ever for Great Britain. He now has
Always working and trying to work it.
10-meter, Dan Goodfellow.
Oh, they just over-rotated, landed somewhat on their back. This was a pretty big miss.
Yep. Very fortunate. Happy birthday, and I'm
The rate of spin,
now the radio begins.
verticalness was not there as they entered the water. Wow.
That's
Unfortunate for the Brits.
Yeah, that's going to knock them down.
Nice. Thank you. That sounds great, Chris. That sounds great, man. Ask me. Dee Dee's birthday was great, and I want to thank you. We had a fabulous time. She used the downstairs here, and all her friends came over. It was fantastic. Dude, totally. I was in my room like I was 9 years old. Oh, dude, I'm sitting in there going like this. What the hell am I going to do? I know, man. It's exactly. They're down there hollering and hooting and hollering. I'm going like, I look at Kim and I go like this. I got kicked out of my own goddamn thing. I should have came down and just started doing it anyway. Oh, yeah. What? Like a dog? I like it. Chris, explain to me what Janet's asking me. I don't know what the hell that email means. Wow. That email that she sent to all of us? Yeah, what is it? What? Okay. I love how you do shit. Not important. She's trying. She's trying. I get it. I get it. There's an effort level. Look at you, man. Remember this, coach. You're on salary. Don't let me not. See, you get. Man, I did. You know what you do? I'm like, I'll tell you what, bro. I have never heard of you. Dude, I was like, I'm sorry, man. Oh, I'm sure. We're only playing here. You know, it's radio stuff. Why? Why would you want that? Why would you want that? Why would you want that responsibility? Yeah, but I don't want that. You know, I help people who come. I help people who come to me. Don't make radio complicated, man. Jesus Christ. Honestly, people make it. It's not complicated. The fucking Quad Cities. I love that. By the way, no rip on it too, because I'm on in Cedar Rapids. How you doing? Yeah, we're good. No. Really? Okay. Good evening, America. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. What a great time of the year. Olympic Games. Football news is so strong right now. Boy, the content is just crazy. By the way, all my friends that are listening to us through USA Radio Network, we welcome you aboard. Also, the people that are on our platforms, like Penguin AZ, over on our YouTube channel, or if you're on our Twitch channel, we appreciate all of you checking us out any way you possibly can. We thank you so much for coming aboard. Our show is just growing and growing and growing. And It's really because of what you guys are starting to like. And it's because of our great relationship that we have with USA Radio. And we really appreciate that relationship. By the way, tonight, one of the absolute greatest coaches in all of college football history will join us. You know, I call him the greatest substitute teacher in the history of football. Dabo Swinney was a interim coach at one time. He was interim. You know, he wasn't given the job by Clemson and the Board of Regents. He was not given that job. What did he do? He earned it, and now he makes $9.5 million a year and is considered, with Nick Saban, one of the greatest coaches in the sport today. Now that Urban Meyer's not in the sport, it really does ping pong between both of those coaches. So we'll have him. That'll be in hour number 2. The head football coach of the Clemson Tigers, Dabo Swinney. You know, I want to start this conversation off tonight, and I want to be as balanced as I possibly can. There are so many snowflake people in our society today that it makes me throw up. And when it starts to affect my sandbox, which is sports, because in your sandbox, when you're watching that ridiculous hearing that's going on in Washington, like it's going to matter moving forward into the midterms, or what do you think that's going to result in? Honestly, what do you think? What do you think that's going to do? Do you know what the only thing it's doing? It's keeping the narrative alive, because that's how the Democrats were elected. Because of stuff like that. Hey, by the way, am I sitting here saying that that wasn't a big deal? I'm not. I'm not saying that. But 90% of Americans have moved past this thing. They're worried about COVID cases going up, debt ceiling, how I'm paying my bills, gasoline prices, and the border. You think anybody gives a rat's ass about that? All those things I mentioned affect Americans. That stuff that happened in Washington. Do you know why people in Washington are very aggravated with that? Because it went to their doorstep. Instead of going to police stations and courthouses. Remember when they were burning them things down? Nobody cared. Came to their back door. All of a sudden, rich folks in Washington got pissed. It's not going to result in anything. Nothing ever does result out of that joint. Nothing. I'm more concerned about these COVID cases and stuff, and the inconsistency of what we're seeing with the CDC. 2 months ago, they told us, if you've been fully vaccinated, you don't have to. Get this. You know what Fauci said today? Today. Get this. Listen to what I just saw it on the news, and I saw it on MSNBC. He said, and I quote, this is not paraphrasing, the variant of the coronavirus, even in the non-vaccinated versus the vaccinated, is showing the same signs. What? That leads me to believe that no matter if you got the vaccinations or not, you could still catch coronavirus. You're confusing Americans. That's that sandbox. That's that over there. And I'm like, let me out of that. There's too much confusion in that side of the aisle. I have no interest in that. Because every time I tune on the news or anything, guess what? It's a different story 2 months from now. It'll be a different story 2 months from now. You know it will. Instead of just being honest with people, we don't know what we're doing right here. We're doing the best we can. We're trying to save as many Americans as we can. Hey, I think it's in the best interest if you wear a mask. Okay? I do. I think it's in the best interest. Until we can get a handle on this, and you know what I'm saying? Just be honest with people. I can't believe that it's so difficult for politicians to be honest. I shouldn't say that, because you know why? They're used car salesmen. They got to sell a narrative, and they got to sell a plan, and they got to get money. You know, they've got to do all these things. So I should understand it, but maybe because I'm hoping that we live just in a society where we're trying to pull in the same direction instead of being divided. I don't want to be divided, man. And by the way, I don't mind pulling with Democrats if we're pulling in the right direction to get rid of this coronavirus. Who wouldn't? What does that have to do with friendship? If you're a Democrat or a Republican, what does that have to do with friendship? It has absolutely to do nothing with friendship. It has nothing to do with being like together and being united. It has nothing. It's like telling me, well, he's a Catholic and he's Jewish or he's Baptist. What does that have to do with friendship? What was that? Again, where does that come out where we're not united because of religion and politics? Boy, how did that get into where we are today? It's so disgusting. And it's leading me somewhere here, and I'm going to tell you. You know, I have to tell you that I've been watching this and listening to this Simone Biles story. And I got to tell you something. The snowflake people that are in our society today, they can't separate things. Where in the world is it that anybody would take that if you criticize an athlete because they failed or they decided to pull out of an event because they were not mentally tough enough to go through the event, where is it written that you can't criticize that because she's a woman? She's considered the greatest gymnast, no matter if she continues or not in these individual events. This is not a personal attack. When you are criticizing LeBron James, and we're talking about LeBron, and we're talking about LeBron's reaction in that Dallas Mavericks series. Remember that Dallas Mavericks series? We all said it looked like he quit. Okay, it did. We hammered him. If women's sports want to be put on the same platform as men's sports, the greatest people that are in those particular sports have to understand you're going to be criticized the same way Michael Jordan would be, Tom Brady would be, Patrick Mahomes would be. Somehow it got to mental health. Let me give you a story here, and I was talking about this earlier. Mental health. So when you're a young kid, and I was talking earlier about this, I went to school at the University of Miami where kids were the only avenue where they could pull their families out of poverty. You know, Simone Biles is saying that she had the weight of the world on her shoulder. You want me to show you what weight of the world is? I walk into a kid's house, Eddie Brown, played at the University of Miami, had dirt on the ground, grass on the ceiling, and no way out. They could barely feed their families. I was in that house. I saw it. They couldn't put food in their kids' mouths. The weight of the world? How about the weight of your family eating dinner? And the only way Eddie Brown could get his family out of that was winning a scholarship and becoming a professional athlete, building a home for his mom, setting up his family for wealth that they won't have to worry about eating a dinner. Don't talk to me about pressure. That's pressure. Feeding your family. Going into Overtown or Liberty City like I did and seeing those kids starving. And seeing these athletes take an opportunity to become an athlete. Michael Irvin, family of 17, 2 rooms. They're all living in these rooms with barely any food. Someone said something earlier to me. Isn't that the mother's responsibility? Are you kidding me? The mother worked 3 different jobs so she could give Michael Irvin that opportunity. And he's rewarded her, built her a home, has her on a payroll for life. That's the weight of the world. Simone Biles, it's okay. She failed. No one wants to say that. Because this is what you get. Sexist, racist, mental health talk. How did that play into failure? Is this a personal attack? I don't know her well enough to personally attack her. I would never do that. She is the most accomplished gymnast of all time. Okay? LeBron James is one of the most accomplished athletes of all time. He gets criticized all the time. Why can't we criticize her for failing? She decides to show up at the Olympic Games and do this. Watch. I need a mental break. Of all the places to do that, it'd be like Tom Brady showing up Super Bowl Sunday and telling Bruce Arians, I need a mental break. I can't play in the game. Do you think Brady would be criticized for that? How about Patrick Mahomes? He was 24 years of age, same age as she is. How about that dog game that he played in the Super Bowl against the Bucs? Did he get criticized? Bet your ass he got criticized. Guy's got a $500 million contract. He was still criticized. If women's sports want to be considered on the same page and you want to start talking about equal pay, when you have an athlete like Simone Biles, you need to criticize the same way you criticize the men. For the record, I think this is a good thing. Other people don't. On how you know why? Look at what I'm opening up my show with tonight. Simone Biles, a woman athlete, instead of Aaron Rodgers addressing the media for the first time. This is a merit badge for them. You're on the same front page as Aaron Rodgers. This is how women's sports grows. Don't hide from it. I mean, talk about woke. Aaron Rodgers, we'll hit on it. He did address the media. We'll do it next. Thank you. That was really awesome of you. Kate Cookie. Now, Harry Mays, but it's Philly stuff. I'll send something to you tonight. There'll be another one on there because I don't want to do 2 Philly guys, you know? Yep, I'll have that tonight right after. You are so awesome. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry about that. I just had a guy say, you need to come back to Tampa. Bro, my friend, you know what's wrong with Tampa? It's they have too much fear in that market right now because it's No one's saying it is. Oh. Okay. Then why go? She was one of Nasser's victims in 16 too, Chris. Okay. Yeah, but what's the difference from 16 to today? There's more pressure on her because there were more expectations. All those same demons were there in 16 as they were here in 20. The thing that got to her was the pressure of the expectation. There were no expectations in 16. So my point is this is not personal on her. Okay, but when you start bombing and then you throw your hand up, I don't know. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. My guy Chris O just said something to me that he's right about mental health. Okay? But take it from somebody who was a professional athlete. I can line up guys that could go around the world that have mental health issues that perform. And I'm not saying everybody's the same. I am not. I'm not saying that. But the same things that were there in 16 were there in 20. What's different? The expectations are different. People are looking at you more. There's more. This has got nothing to do. Well, maybe the mental health seeped in because of the expectations. I'm not going to play a psychologist here, just like I'm not going to play some sort of coronavirus expert here on the air. I'm not going to do that. I'm taking from what I experienced. And by the way, I'm going to tell you a real story. My aunt made sure I told the full story, and I'll do it real quick. My rookie year in the NFL, there was no doubt, man, it was the hardest thing that I had gone through up to that point mentally that I could ever think of. And still to this day, I look in the mirror and I just really rue those moments and that time in my life. I actually said this. Watch this. Please, God, end this for me. I don't want to do this anymore. I know where she was the other day. I said the same thing. God, please end this for me. And I'm not talking my life. I'm talking being in football. I didn't want to play in the NFL. I couldn't. She's going to do this 10, 20, 30 years from now. She's going to look in the mirror and go, oh my God. Oh my God. I let a moment like that go. And it will haunt you for the rest of your life. It haunts me. How could I not have had the intestinal fortitude to push me through that? I wish that I could have said something to somebody. I have great family members. It's not their fault. And sometimes when you have mental issues or you have mental health roadblocks, you have fear of telling somebody that because you don't want to come off like you're soft or you're weak. I completely saw. That's why maybe I don't have the same view as other people do when I see that because I was there. I saw that. I'm not giving her a roadmap to a ramp off the accountability line either. I'm just saying I know where she was. I said the same crap. Please end this. Not near the fame that she has. But I made it to the National Football League. I got a $1.1 million contract. 1987. Same contract as Jerome Brown, maybe $300,000 less. They paid me first round money. I know exactly what she's talking about. And you're gonna regret. Trust me. Not a day, not a week, not a year goes by. That's not front and center in my life. When I look in the mirror. Okay. Hey, do me a favor, my friends. Please check out our friends at podcasterwarehouse.com. Headphones, earbuds, microphones, every single thing that you need. Promo code is Sileo. S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. Shipping is free. You can spend as much as $5, $5,000. Podcasterwarehouse.com. That's podcasterwarehouse.com. Probably the most genuine I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers. He addressed the media today. We'll respond to it. We'll do it next. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. No. Sounds like a Big Ten game. Yeah, maybe. Are the Yankees thinking of trading Aaron Judge? I saw the Gallo kid. I think the Yankees need starting pitching. Have you checked out this Peacock app yet? You think it's a good app? It's NBC programming, right? Huh. Is the Eisen show on that thing? Okay. Okay. Well, you know, conflicts. Yeah. You know, we're working on the streaming. It's not. It's still like sticks and stuff. So we're not really good reception out there yet. So we're working on the towers. Oh yeah. Oh no, that's something that's. It's almost like the tricorder that got Starship Enterprise. I mean, this thing here, you could almost beam somebody over, Scotty. I'm telling you, man. Our phones, incredible. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. How about ESPN is being accused of being part of ripping apart the Big 12 now? Why wouldn't they? They don't have a financial investment in the Big 12. They just purchased the Southeastern Conference rights from CBS, and they have the ACC's rights. Why would they want to be involved in a conference that they don't have anything to do with when it comes to broadcasting their games? Television networks controlling conferences and actually ripping them apart? Big 12 is accusing them of it. It's not Big Sil's doing it. They're accusing them of taking that party and putting it in the toilet. Not a lot of people are happy. And by the way, look at this for a second. Okay? You got to really love the National Communist Association of America. Let me just show you something here on their importance and how obnoxious they really are, especially when it comes to student athletes. Think of this for a second here. So today, you see that Reggie Bush is not going to get his Heisman Trophy back. Well, because the soft-ass Heisman Trophy board and their board of regents said that if the NCAA, puts his records back into play and they make him official again, he'll get his Heisman back. So, of course, what did the NCAA do? Because they don't have any more power over the players. The money now, once the kids make the money, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. So you know what they did? No, we're not going to make Reggie's records at USC official. So now he doesn't get his Heisman. Follow me here on this one, okay? Oklahoma and Texas don't tell the NCAA anything. They absolutely dismantled this Big 12 conference, not caring anything about the conference so that they could go play in the SEC. They don't care at all. What does the NCAA do? Nothing. They do nothing. But when a kid wants to try to get his Heisman back, they say no. So you're more involved with keeping Reggie Bush's Heisman because it's credibility Hey, it's amateurism. And when OU and Texas decide to leave the Big 12 without even telling you or working a deal to try to stay to save the conference, the NCAA is nowhere to be found. But hey, let's put our thumb on a kid. That right there shows you exactly what their importance was all these decades. You know what it was? Keeping the kids down and keeping control of the kids. They still have that old man's mentality, and they're still hiding behind that amateurism flag and that shield that doesn't exist. It hasn't existed since the dream team was put in the Olympic Games. It's funny, my daughter asked me something a couple weeks ago about the Olympics. She's like, well, these guys don't get paid. Are you kidding me? There's not an Olympian today that doesn't get paid. Those days of Jim Thorpe and all that crap and taking money. Who do you think sponsors these guys? Nike, Adidas, a track and field club. These guys make millions. You think Michael Phelps? Michael Phelps is a millionaire. Have you ever Googled his net worth? What did you think he made that? Swimming in a swimming pool at home? This guy was a swimmer. What league is he in? Show me the league that there's a professional swimmers league. You know what? That's a great thing. I'm going to do something live right here on the air here. I am going to ask my phone a question. Tell me how this is possible. What's this? What's Michael Phelps' net worth? $100 million. Name me the league that there's a swimming league. Supposedly this guy was an amateur. He's worth $100 million? I thought it was illegal as an amateur to take money and win a gold medal. Oh, that's right. There's you can get paid now? Oh, I see. But the only kids that can't get paid until July 1 of this year were college football and basketball guys. The only people that were behind were the NCAA. How incredible, man. And they still go by that old mentality. Well, it's amateur. And you're still chasing Reggie Bush around for a $300,000 violation. When you got schools now that are telling the Big 12 to kiss their ass, we don't give a crap about you at all. We're going to the Southeastern Conference for more money. Congratulations. You look like fools. Standard operating procedure. But Bush doesn't get his Heisman. But the Big 12's destroyed. Oh, okay. The hypocrisy in that whole thing. Hey, and by the way, where are all these congressmen and senators to try to save that conference? I mean, I would think, with all the taxpayer money that goes to these institutions, like the University of Kansas or Oklahoma State, where are you in this? Taxpayer money with those state-run institutions, where are you, man? Aren't you going to sue Texas and OU? Hell no, because you don't even know what you're talking about. Chasing Reggie Bush's Heisman around. Holy cow. I saw that today, and I'm like, really? A trophy. And now I bet you feel real big about it. That is such a low-life organization. I just pray to God they burn that thing to the ground. And I'm not talking literally. Because I don't want an algorithm to get a hold of me, because nowadays we're all run by algorithms. You're hearing what you want to hear. That's how social media sets up everything. You know that, right? By your algorithm. They do things so that the things you want to hear, that's how they set it up. And when they start hearing things that you don't want to hear, that's when there's red flags. God forbid you start talking about voter issues or CDC stuff or whatever. That's when the algorithms start going, ooh, who's this guy? He must be an atheist. Or he must be a socialist. Or he must hate him. And you're like, no. It's just a discussion. It's not socialism. It's a discussion. People today, get this. Our human behavior is now being controlled by computers. The things that we talk about are now being censored because of algorithms. Do you understand that? You're being systematically programmed not to say certain things, or you will be blacklisted. Your Twitter account taken from you. There'll be disclaimers put around you. Do you understand this? So Americans have to be smarter today in how we talk to one another. Because you know why? The computers are ahead of us. Welcome to America, USA Today. Things that you say, the things that you type, your emails, everything is being set up by personal information. Why do you think Facebook wants all that? They just don't want to know your social security card or your Visa number. You know what they want to know? Your mannerisms, your behavior. They're setting profiles up on you. And if you don't know that, which I would think 70% of Americans don't think that way. The eye in the sky don't lie, my friends. They're watching you. And when I say this, it's not the government. The government can't even control these people. Because you know what they did? They put a law on the books. It's the only big business in this country that is not monitored by the government. Think of that for a minute. Social media has ended newspapers, radio stations, media outlets and platforms. They had Parlors suspended. Did Google. And get this, I think it's called Rule 242, 246, something like that. That exempts them from that. By the way, it's not Washington, D.C. anymore. It's Silicon Valley. Oh, and it really doesn't have a party. It doesn't have a face. It has an algorithm. They want you all to think alike. And if you don't, they put you over here in this section. You know, on my Twitter page, you know, I've never been suspended by Twitter in my life. Okay? I don't do anything crazy on my Twitter anymore when it comes to politics. No way. You know why? I don't need my account to be ghost and have them watching me like that. Why would I? I'm trying to do as less as I possibly can. But get this, that means that I'm censoring myself. If you don't think that that's going on, then you got your head in the sand. You know, it's funny when you start talking about masks, and then as soon as you start talking masks, that's when all of a sudden it's political. You know, watch this. I'm going to say two things to you, and they're going to be completely politicized, and I wouldn't even have to get into it. Watch this. Mask, MAGA hat. Think of that. When you say mask, it's identity politics. When you say MAGA hat, you think one guy. And I don't even get this. I don't even have to give you an explanation. Because the media, what they've done is they have categorized these two. It is scary on how our country, my aunt was right today. Country, man, it's crazy where we are. Right. It's crazy. Okay? It's crazy. I mean, identity politics like this? Just, like I said too. So like you've got the NCAA, and they don't care about an area of the country, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, all those middle of the country states that put this conference together with United States taxpayer money. Where do you think these programs get that money from? They're tax exempt. State institutions are tax exempt. You understand that? They're like churches. So the money that they make, they don't have to pay income taxes on it. Now, if you make a salary and you're a head coach at Texas like Steve Sarkisian, you have to pay taxes, but the schools that generate that money don't. That's why these schools are so wealthy, like A&M and Texas. I'm all for that. But Jesus criminy, what about the integrity of what these conferences and what Americans really look forward to? Because a lot of these programs are community entities. When you go to College Station, Texas A&M is so important when you go to Franklin Field. Same thing in Austin. Nobody cares. We have so much politics in our sports today. Man. All right. Hey, please check out our friends at podcasterwarehouse.com. 25% off of everything that is on that fabulous website. Okay? Microphones, earbuds. If you're gamers, this is your one-stop place as well. Because you're friends with Big Cells, 25% off everything that's there. S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. That's S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. Podcasterwarehouse.com. That's podcasterwarehouse.com. We will hit, I promise, on Aaron Rodgers. We'll do it next. Keep it on Dan Sileo Show. Okay. Sorry, I don't remember anybody like that. Every time you mention that guy's name, my feet itch. No. I got athlete's Kong foot. I actually soak my feet in Kong water. No. The Kong's insult, man. That's really hurts my toes. No way, man. That's a fun guy that doesn't go away. I saw that. You watch. The Blackhawks will be in the conference finals. No way. Hold on for a second. Hold on. He was taken, wasn't he taken a year after, what's his name? How old is Marc-Andre Fleury? 36
years old.
That's older than I thought. I thought he was taken a year after. Yeah. How old is Sidney Crosby?
33 years old.
Okay, it's 3 years. Nobody's bashing him. Ugh. Wow, that's terrible, man. They wanted to get out from the money. Should have been for that crappy ass performance last year. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Dabo Sweeney, the legendary coach at Clemson, will be with us. You know, I saw Aaron Rodgers' press conference today. He addressed the media, and he was very, very honest answering. It was the first time that I had seen Aaron Rodgers answer questions and him give completely honest answers where I went like this. Wow, the Packer front office looks like they look like butt sticks. They really do. I mean, he was as honest as it can get. Asked him about retirement. He's like, I really did think about it. I did. I thought about it. He was talking about when people want to play in Green Bay. Green Bay's the smallest city. It was no shade on Green Bay. You might get pushback on this because do you think he's talking trash on Green Bay? I really don't. When you come to Green Bay, you're not going to play for the Packers. You want to play with Aaron Rodgers. Why not use him as a recruiting tool? He feels that way. He wanted to be used as an asset to try to get people in the building. And he says, when I'm not being used that way, it just doesn't make sense. Because he's right. Get this. It's not Chicago. It's not Detroit. It's not New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco. You might want to go to Miami because state income taxes and it's warm and it's a cool environment and it's a great franchise and all that. Green Bay, it's cold and that's it. And they got Heritage and Lambeau. That may not be enough to get me to go there. I don't see free agents wanting to just go, hey, let me play in a place that's 38 below zero. I mean, let me bring my family up there. No, I don't think so. That's not going to work. You need to have somebody be a salesman. And he felt he wanted to be part of that asset for them to be able to do it. And that's all he was asking. I really went like this. Okay. And you know what else he said? He went like this. Look, you drafted a guy. If you don't want me here, let's work something out. I'll leave. I'll go. But don't do things behind my back like this. It's funny. Chris and I were just talking about Marc-Andre Fleury being dealt to the Chicago Blackhawks. He found out on Twitter. That's behind your back stuff. And you know what, too? That's like not having a sack of onions to talk to the player in his face. When he came to the Vegas Golden Knights, you know what he was? He was the face of that franchise. Oh, you have Marc-Andre Fleury in net? Wow. Okay. All I'm saying is players like to have a little honesty. Look, I get the Knights doing this. Hey, man, this guy's got a big number. I completely see it. But, man, just be a little transparent. I don't know why people have a problem doing. Yeah, you know what it is. People don't like confrontation. That's all that comes down to. When I hear someone has to find out on how you get fired, or you don't find out firsthand from the person that's your direct boss, that means he doesn't have the onions to tell you. That's a lack of transparency. The guy that hired you should fire you. That's how I look at it. I brought you here. I'm telling you it didn't work. It's on me. Just as much as you. But see, When people do that, that means they got to take accountability for their failures, and they don't want to do that. Sports is wicked like that, man. General managers don't like to address their failures. They just won't. That was his fault. No. You paid him. You brought him here. And you had someone else fire him? Man, that's a lack of onions. Lack of onions. There's a way. Look, when you're honest with people, I tell you what, the easiest thing in the world sometimes is the most difficult things to do, I guess. Okay? And that's all Aaron Rodgers was talking about in Green Bay. Just be honest. You want to move on? Fine. And by the way, you know what he did today too? He didn't close the door. He goes, I wouldn't want anyone giving up on me. Aaron Rodgers is telling you, that was an olive branch today. If Mark Murphy, the president of the organization, saw that press conference, he should do this. Hey, man, let's make this thing happen. And let's try to keep this guy here. Let's make him retire a Packer. If you're a Green Bay Packer fan, you were like this, Aaron's our guy. I didn't have one problem with anything he said. As a matter of fact, I thought it was as transparent as I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers. Which means I guess he was the most honest I've ever seen him. Instead of playing those like helter-skelter games and, those coded tweets and stuff like that where you have to try to figure everything out. You know what I mean? All right. More on the Olympics. Also, an organization being the same way they've been forever. We'll reset and keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Hey, Chris, I'll be right back. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Okie dokie. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's terrible. Hey man, that's, you know what? That's really horrible for the board and everything. Okay. Absolutely. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Welcome aboard. I'm the king of chaos. Here, let me tell you why. And let me explain to you. I love storylines. I don't care what they are. I love stories that get, I don't want to use the term clicks, but I guess that's fashionable today. What gets clicks, what gets people leaning forward. Unfortunately, some of that stuff has to play into the political end, right? It just seems that politics, sports, entertainment, they're all colliding in our country right now. And I guess it's people like us that try to look at a story for what it is. Okay? We try to look at a story and say, and get this. I think we do this, and I love doing this because my guy Chris O and I do this all the time. We have some differences when it comes to political views. But what we both do that I love is that we kind of try to talk things out. You know what he was saying to me in the last hour? He was like, let me make my point. I love that. That's one of my favorite lines when I'm in a discussion with someone. Let me finish my point. You shouldn't be insulted when someone says that. Because when you're in our business, you're always going to overtalk each other to try to get your opinion on top of the next person's opinion. It's a technique. But if you're good at it and you're smart at it, you'll be able to get to at least some type of compromise. Chris said something. He goes, yeah, I see your point, but I also saw his. That's lost today. Hey, by the way, I have an opinion. I don't sit there and straddle a fence because it hurts, one. And secondly, it also hurts when you're having an opinion on the air like that. That's not what we do here. I'm not a journalist. I say that all the time to you. I am a radio opinionist. I'm an observer. I observe things, make an opinion. No, but you know what most people do that are either Democrats or Republicans, and you know the liberals and conservative radio guys, what they'll do is they'll take a point and turn it into a conservative point, or vice versa. That's not getting to what the crux of a story is. That's changing the narrative of a story. That's why when you listen to certain people, hey, I've said this before about Rush Limbaugh. Rush was a conservative talk show host. And every topic he had was leaning that way. I don't do it that way. And some would go, well, that means you waffle. No, I don't waffle on anything. I talk about a particular topic and I look at it for what it is. And then I give you my opinion on it. That's how I do it. And if you don't like it, that's why sometimes people go, I thought Sileo was like a Trump guy. And all of a sudden now you're going like this. Wait, he just completely went against, because I'm on the side of right. I'm on the side of America. I do always know this. I root for America. I don't root for a party. I root for America. How many times have I told you? I don't care who's on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He's the president of the United States. He is, without a doubt, the head coach of our country right now. And if you're rooting against our head coach, you're anti-American. That'd be like being on a football team and doing this. Hey, man, I pray that my coach fails. That means you fail. Why would you do that? So you're really hoping that Joe Biden fails, that our country fails? Hey, man, every 4 years, every 2 years. You could change that opinion. You got midterms and you got general elections. You know what I mean? You could change that view. Get out and vote. Don't bitch about it for 2 years or 4 years. Do something about it. Send the proper representatives. You know, Chris said something to me. Probably don't even know if he remembers. He said something to me 5 years ago. This election was not really decided for who the guy was that was going to go to the White House. This was a down ballot election. This last 2020 election. It was, because it sent a lot of different vibes to people. I think Democrats were very upset that the gap closed in the House of Representatives. You don't think that Nancy Pelosi could be a lame duck Speaker of the House? I'm telling you, man, this was a down ballot election. Everyone thinks it was about Trump. It was a down ballot deal. He's right. This affected states. We'll see what happens. But like I said, narratives. And he and I were talking about this Simone Biles story. Look, I want to make it very clear. Nothing personal against the young lady. She is one of the most accomplished Americans ever in sports. And I know people are saying, uh-oh, here comes the backhanded slap. No, it's the story. If you are going to be considered a LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Shohei Ohtani, any one of these athletes in our country that we look at, Kevin Durant, all of those athletes get criticized every single day. It's okay to criticize her. It's okay to say she bombed in the Olympics. Now, this is where the story gets a little bit shady here. Then what you start doing is you bring in mental health. You know what that does when you bring in the mental health issue? It stops the conversation instead of continuing something that actually helps women's sports. If I'm comparing Simone Biles to LeBron James, that's a win for women's sports. How don't you see that? What woman have we ever compared to a man and said Serena Williams, probably, right? Serena Williams is really the only woman that comes to mind. Well, you're talking about the greatest tennis player of all time in American history. Well, what about Pete? I don't know, man. I'll take Serena. Her accomplishments. But you know what Serena wants? She wants equal pay. Wimbledon, French Open. Guys make all this money. Some go, well, they play more sets. Serena, I wouldn't know. I couldn't pick an American tennis player out of a crowd. I have no idea who they are today. When I was a kid, they were Borg, McEnroe, Connors, Andre Agassi, guys like that, right? I couldn't name you a guy. but I can name you Serena. Or how about the women's soccer team? Should they be making the same money as the men? Absolutely. But if they're going to make the same money as the men, you're going to be criticized like the men. Megan Rapinoe taking a knee prior to the Sweden game and then they get beat is fair criticism. Oh, then it's sexism. But do you know what the woke crowd does? Sexist, racist, homophobic. They throw that in. That's why women's sports doesn't get covered the same way men's sports do. That's why we can't elevate women's sports. Because you know why? You get called a sexist immediately. How is that as anything to do with her bombing at the Olympics? And what I mean by that is this. Okay, she went through the routines, and then when she realized she wasn't doing very well, she quit. Then she threw in mental health. Okay, no problem with that. Why'd you show up? You brought that into the conversation because you were failing. You see, here, sometimes in the journey, you don't know how to handle failure. How many times do you think Simone Biles has had to deal with failure? Like none? That's a poor moment on her. Watch this. She's one of the most, this is what people fire back at you. She's one of the most accomplished. Yeah, okay, all of that's true. What has that got to do with today? What has that got to do with right now? What does that have to do with the Olympics? People out there probably going, are you ripping her? Yeah, but I'm not personally ripping her. I don't know her from a can of paint. But I don't know LeBron James from a can of paint. I don't know Kevin Durant, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Mike Trout. I criticize those guys too. What's the difference here? Because she's a woman? Well, then you're okay with covering women's sports differently than men's sports. Well, then don't expect the same kind of equal coverage or pay or thought process when you don't want to be covered like the men. Dan, does everything have to be criticism? No. But when we're talking about the greatest of all time, and you actually have emojis and you actually have on your gear a GOAT sign, and you're calling yourself the GOAT too, you're going to be criticized. It's nothing personal. It's just business. I mean, I don't know how else to look at it. Now, what you've done is you've put a roadblock in this conversation because you're bringing mental health into it. Mental health. There's not an athlete or a sport that doesn't have athletes in those sports that have gone through some type of trials and tribulations and mental issues. It's not an excuse. Every individual is different, and they handle things differently. My opinion, Simone Biles handled her failure bad. Some would say she showed bravery in coming out and saying that she had mental issues. To me, you know what the impact would be? Is if she failed and she came back and she started, once she got back to the States, hey, I bombed because I let it get to me and my mental issues. Instead of it just looks, it's a poor look for her. Some would go like this. She's the greatest of all. That has nothing to do. Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. If he would have went to Bruce Arians on Super Bowl Sunday and said he couldn't play because of mental stress, you think he would have been given a pass? Or Patrick Mahomes, who's the same age as Simone Biles. He's 24 also. You don't get a pass. Watch this. Here. Patrick Mahomes had a horrible Super Bowl and played terrible in that game. Is that fair criticism? Yeah, but I can't do that to her. Why? It's sports. Relax. It's sports. Dabo Sweeney, he'll join us at the bottom of the hour. I want to talk about the Jets. We'll do it next. I just want to make sure we have enough content for Orlando. Good, just so. Good. Let's see if that guy's doing anything. Does he respond to you? Yeah, that's a big interview. I want that on my site. Yeah, I don't. Let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't see these on here. Like, I know you did. I know. I'm gonna have to have the conversation. That's a great name for. No, this is a great name for my broadcasting. Kong Productions. Oh. King Kong Radio. Yeah. Ooh, wait a minute. Here they are. I didn't see them here. Ooh. David Sampson. Oh, I got it. And there we go. Adam Carton. Brad Nessler. Houston Nutt. Where's this one? I need the one. Fuck you, son of a b. With Tommy Tuberville on there. Gotcha. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Dabo Sweeney, head football coach of the Clemson Tigers, will be with us at the bottom of the hour. Let me show you how to be a loser. Simple. All you have to do is point yourself to the Jets. That's simple. Organizations do things, and you know the ones that are great. You know the businesses like Apple, you know. who do things in the right manner so that they could be successful. Because you know why? Just like Warren Buffett says all the time, you're only as successful as the people that work for you. I don't care what the widget is. It's about people. So the Jets, they have a quarterback that they drafted out of Brigham Young. His name is Zach Wilson. So every other person is signed now except him. Why is that? And by the way, your rookie deal is set in stone. There's no negotiating except for this. You know what the Jets decided to do? There's a bylaw in the CBA, collective bargaining agreement, that says that if you're the number 1 or number 2 picks, okay, you get your signing bonus, which is around $20 million, between 15 and 30 days. You know what the Jets want to do? They want to defer 75% of the money to next year. Why is that? So they can collect interest on it, pay them this year with the interest, and then get this, have it in the bank so they're curing that money. Talk about cheap. Talk about doing things and moving the yardsticks on people. It's totally why the Jets suck. It's totally why certain people will always fail. Woody Johnson, you're like this. I don't know. I mean, think about the Jets for a second. Oh, yeah, 1969, Joe Namath. That's the only thing you have to root for. There's nothing redeeming about your program. There's nothing redeeming about your team. Zero. There's nothing. It's the worst fan base in the NFL. It's the most delusional fan base in the NFL. They think their worth is like, what have you won? I can't think the last time you won a division title. Well, the year Brady got hurt, I think it was, when Chad Pennington was the quarterback. I think that may have been it. You're going cheap. And what's even more sucky about it, you drafted a quarterback, you sent Sam Darnold to Carolina, there you are again on the same conveyor belt of failure because of your own actions. Organizations always show their colors every year, no matter who you are, no matter what year it is. A zebra will not change its stripes. And the Jets continue to be, well, the Jets. Just like every company, you could change the personnel all you want, but if the rooster at the top of the hen house is still that same rooster, it'll be a failure. No matter how many times you plug different people in. It just doesn't change because it's the same way you do business and how you treat people and the same culture that's in the building. Jets suck, man, because of stuff like this. You had a lot of optimism when you drafted the quarterback as high as you did. He's second player drafted. He actually, I think, has a chance to be somebody special. But you're never going to be somebody special when you don't do special things. You're just hope. Watch this. You're like rubbing like the hope chest and praying for things to happen. Well, I really hope this kid pans out. Hope is a failure word. It's like wishing the lottery ticket numbers. Hey, check out our friends at podcasterwarehouse.com. 25% off everything that's inside the building. Microphones, earbuds. If you're looking to build a home studio, this is your one-stop place. Use the promo code Sileo, S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. That's S as in Sam, I-L-E-O. As I said, 25% off everything. Podcasterwarehouse.com. That's podcasterwarehouse.com. One of the truly legendary coaches in college football. He is going to go down as one of the greatest coaches of all time. Dabo Swinney, head football coach of the Clemson Tigers, will join us next. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. What do you want? I'm waiting for you, donkey. I didn't know you were cleared. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, Wokey. Oh. I'll be right back, dog. I'll be right back. Be right back. It's not fall in. Fall in what?
YouTube channel, please do. No, you don't. You're one of those whiners that needs a tissue. You do, man. It's okay. No crying. Wow. See. So you hold me hostage, right? Okay, I got it. See, you understand something, folks. This is what a on-air talent like myself has dealt with for 30 years. You know, producers are holding me hostage. But at least this one's good. And he's not really a producer. He's like, what would be the word I would use for Chris? Let me think. No. I know we're good, dog. Hang on. Let me think of a job title. What would I say? Master craftsman. Like a master, like, what do you call those guys? A master mason.
because he knows how to do everything. Except sales and traffic. Okay, that's all right. By the way, they probably, you know what? They could probably use his insight on that though too. I know he's already working 23 hours a day. Yeah. No, his head was on a spit then. I mean. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Hopefully you enjoyed Dabo Swinney. I love talking to the coach. You know what my favorite metric is when it comes to evaluating people? You know what it is? Reality. If you tune on or click or whatever you folks do, I don't know. When it comes to websites, the best politician, the best quarterback, they come up with all these dumbass metrics. You know what my metric is? Watch this. If I had 60 minutes, what guy would I want in the NFL today to win a football game? That's my best quarterback in the game today. I saw all these lists, these Pete Prisco lists and all these other guys who pretend that they know what they're talking about. Remember something, they're witnesses. Never been in a huddle in their life. They think they know. They don't know jack. My favorite metric is, who would you want with 60 minutes left in a game if you had to win one game? Tom Brady. Is that too simple? Why does everyone else have a different list with a different name at the top of that list? Oh, it's Patrick Mahomes or this guy here or Aaron Rodgers. You're like, those guys, without a doubt, okay? Those guys all the time would always do this. They would always go around here. Well, you know, and you're like, Tom Brady's got 7 championships. He's going for 8. Okay? He's going for 8. Here's my top guys. I got Brady 1. I got Wilson 2. Russell, Seattle. I got Aaron Rodgers. I'll throw him in there. I think he is the greatest spinner of the ball. I don't know if he's the greatest winner of all time. But after that, I go Mahomes. I guess I'm for it. I'm cool with him. But then everybody else in the league, they're dudes. They're dudes. Matthew Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo. Lamar hasn't done anything in the postseason. Josh Allen kind of hasn't done anything also. Before I start sitting here pimping guys to be the next dude or like Brady, win. Win the game. It's not how you look throwing the ball. Win the game. It's ridiculous when you hear people doing this all the time. This guy here, he's got the stats and he's throwing for 5,000. Why do you start with stats? Why don't you start with rings? Nobody cares about records. They care about championships. They care about winning games. That's what made. Watch this. How come every time we have a conversation about the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Troy Aikman's not in the list? You know why? He doesn't have the greatest statistics. They're not gaudy. Aikman's 3-0 in Super Bowls. Montana's 4-0 in Super Bowls. You know Joe Montana's quarterback rating is 135. He's thrown 14 touchdowns and no picks. Now, you can say what you want about Brady, but that guy's pretty incredible. And, hey, let's not forget something. He beat Elway and Marino in them games. He didn't lose to Nicky Foles and Eli Manning. I'm not saying Brady's not the GOAT. I'm just saying, you beat Marino and Elway, and I consider those two, if you want to put them in the top 5, you easily could. That's the greatest quarterbacks ever played a game. I love these guys with these clickbait websites. Pro Football Focus has this guy. Oh, my God, that'll change because It's all it is clickbait. But that's all most things are today. How can I get a reaction out of you? You know? How can I make you respond? Here, wait. What are the buttons? COVID, border, race, racist, sexist, MAGA. Thank you, Chris. I mean, really. Deep state. Okay, hey, please stop, Chris, because I'm going to start laughing. That's Radio 101. Deep state, MAGA. Let's make a topic. Hey, I got a show. Yeah, hey, watch this. The NCAA is going to be run by Trump. Thank you. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. More news to come. Next hour, I got the news. Trump's going to run the NCAA into the ground. We'll reset. You keep everything here on the Dan Sileo Show. I'll use that tomorrow. Yeah, I know. That'll be good. Absolutely. Hey, brother, I love. Hey, that was great, man. Hey, I'll send something over tonight so you have it in the morning. Yeah. I definitely will, dude. I completely will. I love you, bro. Later. Got it. That guy is sensational, my friends. He is without a doubt. My ops guy is without a doubt. Guys, I love you guys. You guys are really cool. By the way, Paul, thank you very much. I loved WEI, but they turned into a snowflake station too, and that's why their ratings suck. Thank you, Junior.